So a few of you have asked me over the last couple of months, I think it's a couple months old, to talk about this video called Yes, I Am an Ex-Vegan or Maybe Not, ? From, why do I always say question mark? It's really obnoxious. Anyway, from the Fairly Local family, formerly the Fairly Local Vegan. I believe her name is Amber. I'll have to double check that. Anyway, I sat down this morning to, write notes, and I think like many of you, my brain goes elsewhere right now, and it's really hard to focus on anything else. And so, I thought maybe if I sit down and rewatch the video, because I have seen the video, and just kind of talk, maybe I'll be able to, because I know what I want to say, I just could not put pen to paper, so to speak, and make anything happen. The words come out. It just wasn't working. So maybe if I sit here and watch it again, maybe I can just talk and it'll help. I don't know, but I'm going to try because I would like to get another video out for you guys. I've gotten a lot of comments from you from the last couple of videos saying thank you for giving us, stuff to watch right now. So, yeah, I feel like I kind of have a duty to put more videos out there for you guys if it helps at all, even a tiny bit.
The biggest reason I changed my name on all my social media was because I wanted to be transparent to the fact that I don't just make one type of video. I make a ton of different types of videos.
The main reason she changes is because she doesn't just talk about vegan, and she thinks, if you come across a channel that has food in the channel name, you're going to assume that it's mostly about food, or gardening, it's mostly about gardening. And so, having Fairly Local Vegan just doesn't reflect what she's talking about. She's talking about zero waste and finance and all sorts of different stuff.
For the last year, so many people have had an opinion about my diet. And to be honest, that's because I am very transparent and honest on my channel about my health. I have Crohn's disease. It is a debilitating disease. It makes it very hard for me to eat certain things or eat at all at times. It is painful. People don't want to hear that you're sick. They really don't. My subscribers on my Instagram always dips when I talk about illness, but I think illness is real and it is part of our society, even if we pretend it's not there and we choose to hide it. So I talk about it because I want more people to know about chronic illness, and I want more people to know about Crohn's disease, and I don't want the people who have it to feel alone.
She has an update on that. I think it's her most recent video at the time of this recording, where she talks about having gone into remission based on some, inflammation marker, some testing that they do. I think she said back in January, she's gained 30 or 40 pounds, weight that she needed to gain, and she's doing much better, and still vegan doing it, which is really, really awesome. And she talks about all these people, telling her not to be vegan, that's, causing the Crohn's or making it worse, or getting all these different sort of messages. Yeah, but I think it is great that people are willing to talk about that stuff, because she's right. People don't want to hear about you being sick or about you, feeling bad even, right? I mean, I guess it depends on the content creator, but there is definitely a lot of pressure on certain creators, depending on what your channel is. If your channel is all about, being super healthy and energetic and all of this stuff, and then you have a video where you're like, actually, I have this condition, or I don't feel good, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, people are going to be like, what? They're going to tune out because that's not what they're there for, Obviously, I have an advantage because I constantly talk about how I feel like shit. I'm not a beacon of health, I'm living on Nugo bars and coffee and Soylent, that's 90% of my diet. So no worries there.
I have had so many vegans tell me this year that, yeah, good for you, you're dealing with this chronic illness and you're still vegan. And I've had so many other people come to me and be like, oh, you're sick and you have this chronic illness because you're vegan.
Even if you really believe that, about that someone is doing something that's not helping their condition, please realize that they are also very likely getting, she has 200,000 something subscribers. This video has 125,000 views. She's getting a lot of messages, conflicting messages from different people. So think about how you would feel if you were dealing with something really serious. Crohn's disease is really serious. It's a chronic illness, as she says. Imagine how you would feel if you're really suffering with something and trying to do better and going to doctors and everything, and you're getting 1,000 different messages from randos telling you that they have the answer and they know what you can do to help yourself. Like, imagine what that would feel like. Probably not great. I complain, but like, I am in control of this phone. I can turn off the messaging before I record. So, maybe don't get mad at the phone, you dummy.
I've had people tell me I'm not zero waste enough or low waste enough, or I'm doing something else wrong and not perfect enough. And to be honest, you're never going to be perfectly zero waste or perfectly minimalist or perfectly vegan or anything like that.
Yeah, and I will say that's another thing, often people have good intentions when they're sending out this information like, oh, you could do this or this or this. It's not always just the like trying to point out hypocrisies to make yourself feel better, or like, oh, you say you're zero waste, but you do this. I think often people are really trying to educate. It's someone else who's also trying to do zero waste, and they're like, oh, well, this thing that you do actually maybe isn't, which is good. But again, I think it can often come across like overwhelming, and it can make the person feel like, well, Jesus, I'm doing the best I can. This isn't you talking to a friend. This is you talking to someone who's getting other messages from other people saying other things that they should be doing. You know what I mean? It can be, again, just very overwhelming. So I don't really know the answer to that so much, other than just really tone policing, right? Just like, be careful with your tone when you're saying something like that to anyone, really, but especially someone who is any sort of public figure, even someone on YouTube. Like, again, put yourself in their shoes, how many messages they're getting like, oh, you're doing this, but what about this? And like, you say you're zero waste, but like, because a lot of other people are not being particularly nice. So I guess what I'm saying is the onus is kind of on us to be super, super careful and like, hey, I love your channel and blah, blah, blah. And like, I was wondering if you knew about this. That's something that I think I love when people do that. I see people do that on my channel. I know what you're doing. And I really appreciate it. I do. And someone's just like, oh, of course I can't think of an example right now, but instead of saying like, hey, that's actually not sustainable or not this, and here's a better solution. It's like, hey, I was wondering if you knew anything about this. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm asking you. And yeah, like I get why people are doing that, because I think all of us respond much better to that than, hey, here's the thing that I know and you don't. Like, I know more about this issue than you do, even though you're making videos about it, right? Even though, again, the person's probably that's not the way they're projecting it. But if you're getting like all of these messages from people and all of these comments, if you're actually reading comments, it can come across that way. See what I mean? I mean, that's just life, right? Like, that's relationships. So, so much of having successful relationships is just being careful with how you say things.
But am I still a vegan? I really want to say first that it really should not matter if I am vegan or not. I know there are so many vegan YouTubers that are now ex-vegan YouTubers, and I know that people like to attack them for whatever reason. And I just want to say that I understand, because it's real life. And real life stuff happens to you. And for some reason, we like to elevate people onto this like social media pedestal where they're like, oh my goodness, they're perfect and have this perfect life and they're so happy and I want that. But to be honest, it's just real life. You don't see everything that person is going through.
It's crazy to me how angry people get when there's so little that they know about the person. Look, I get it when someone is spreading misinformation. Generally, if I'm making a video about an ex-vegan, like someone who's actually an ex-vegan, not Amber, generally it's because either they are not owning up to the diet that they were eating, the incredibly restrictive diet that they were eating, and promoting that to people and not getting rid of that content, or they're, spreading misinformation like currently. I think like, was it Kal-El who was talking about how bad carbs are, stuff like that. That's why I'm going to comment on someone no longer being vegan, not because they are no longer vegan. I don't know what they're going through in their lives. It's not my place to say, well, actually, you could really do it. You're just not trying hard enough or whatever.
This past summer, I bought a pair of leather sandals at a thrift store for one of my kids for $4. And that pair of leather sandals will be passed down from kid to kid. And all I'm going to say is that I believe thrifting is more sustainable than buying a pair of $70 plus vegan sandals online made out of plastic. More effort is going into making that vegan thing than me already going and purchasing something that's already made, which is actually more durable than plastic. Sadly, but it's more durable because I can pass it down from kid to kid rather than buy a pair of $70 sandals that wear out in one season and create waste because I'm going to have to throw them out.
This is exactly what I've talked about before. It's amazing to me that people would shame someone like Amber for making that sort of decision. I mean, I guess it comes down to having a sort of deontological view of veganism, or I'll say a dogmatic view of veganism versus a pragmatic one, or one that's more focused on consequences and one that also understands nuance, right? Because, vegan, like most things, it's a good heuristic, right? 9 out of 10 times, if you say to someone, hey, you should go vegan, right? I mean, maybe don't say it like that, but you know what I mean. 9 out of 10 times, someone going vegan, it's going to be better for the environment, obviously better for the animals, probably better for their health as well. But that doesn't mean there aren't cases where that would not be the case. It's ridiculous to think that 100% every single time that would actually be the best outcome. Let's say someone goes vegan and they have a Cliff Builder bar every day. It has palm oil. They have Earth Balance every day. Say they have it twice a day on toast, and maybe they make a grilled cheese or something with it. Maybe some other sort of vegan snacks with palm oil, right? A lot of vegan stuff has palm oil in it. Compare them to someone who, let's say, is plant-based. So they're not technically vegan, right? This other person is vegan, eats a lot of palm. We have this other person who eats, I guess plant-based we're using to mean vegan now, but they eat, almost exclusively plants, but they have a glass of milk in the morning, every morning. Are you 100% sure? 100% sure that the person who is eating tons of palm oil, let's say this person doesn't consume any palm, the person who's consuming a shit ton of palm oil is actually causing less harm than the person who's having a glass of milk in the morning? Because I don't know 100%. I don't know either way which one is causing more harm, which is why I constantly talk about this, because it ends badly when we think of things as so black and white because it's easier. And when we attach ourselves so strongly to these labels like vegan, we end up being mean. So many of us end up being mean. We see it over and over and over again. Look at what Amber's dealing with. Look at what all of these ex-vegans have dealt with. And I'm not talking about criticizing them for having bad content or anything else, things that I have done. I'm talking about saying they were never really vegan. I'm talking about criticizing them for still being vegan, but buying a pair of leather sandals because it's not vegan, and saying they never really cared about the animals. It's this tribal mentality shit, and it's this I'm better than you shit. It's why I constantly talk about labels, and it's why I constantly talk about nuance. I know it's annoying, but the more of us understand that, I think the more understanding we will be towards other people and their positions on things. I think we will be more willing to look at someone like Amber, even if you disagree, even if you think that, well, she should have bought some other shoes. We won't be so vitriolic about it. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have bought the used leather sandals, but can I honestly say that the shitty plastic shoes that I buy for my kid is actually better? No, because I don't have all of that information. I can't possibly know. I can just do the best with the information that I have. And when it comes to something like this, we just don't have that much. So I have no idea if buying, well, I'll show you. So here are the very dirty, very crappy little, I don't know what brand this is. It's just Disney Frozen shoes, right? That we got at Sears, actually, before it closed. This was, I don't know, a couple years ago now. They were closing, and so obviously they were having all these sales. And so we went through and we found these. We also found a pair. They weren't the same shoe. They were kind of the same style, but like different colors. So we were like, whatever. So we bought those together like as a pair. And so my kid would often wear like these two different color shoes, and like they get so many compliments. Like, they had such good fashion sense, but it's like, no, it's just us being cheap. But we also got these. I think we paid, it was like $7-8, something like, I don't think it was $4. It was more than that. And these are new. And yeah, they're vegan, but they're cheapy plastic, and they've held up, not super great. Hopefully Tiny Baby can wear these when they're older, but after that, like, they're definitely going to have to be thrown away. These are not going to be able to be passed down. My point is, was this the better thing for us to do, buying not only new shoes, we didn't even buy used, but, buying this cheapy material that does not last. The shoes that I buy cheap shoes from Target that just totally fall apart after a few months. If this is just all, it doesn't matter what the end result is, right? If it's just, here are the rules and you have to be vegan and that's it, then, I don't know like what to say to you. I don't know how to change your mind, but I think most of us do care about context and we do care about consequences. So, maybe just be nicer is all I'm saying.
I guess what it came down to is I am accepting myself for me. I don't want to label myself anymore. My self-identity isn't tied up in being a vegan. I'm just me now.
It's another problem with labels, is that people do become vegan, like, first and foremost, and that's a problem. Because if that's who you are first, or even second, or even third, if that's like a huge part of your life is being vegan, then yeah, I think you are more likely to be offended by those who don't follow along perfectly. The only reason that it is as big in my life is as it is because of my job, and because it is still a fringe thing. And, a lot of people, we've still got to convince a lot of people that this is something that can be done. But in my day-to-day life, like, I don't, other than buying food and making sure it's vegan, like, I think I live like anyone else, just kind of day by day, and trying to do what's right for my family and trying to help other people when I can. And also, as, an effective altruist, I guess I would call myself, that comes before vegan, right? Being a consequentialist comes before vegan, comes before anything else. I'm vegan because I am a consequentialist, because I believe that there is a lot of suffering in the world and that we can do a lot more to reduce it by a lot. Being vegan is a necessary part of that, right? Or at least reducing animal product consumption as much as I can. So it's not hard for me to go, oh, well, yeah, I can see someone adopting a backyard chicken and eating the chicken's eggs. Yeah, sure. Because it's not a threat to my identity as a vegan.
And now the answer that you all have been waiting for. Am I still vegan? No, I'm not still vegan. And you want to know why? Because I've chosen to be. I have chosen consciously to become an ex-vegan. And this is what I did. I bought a pair of leather thrifted $4 shoes for my kids. And I am owning the fact that I did that to be more sustainable, because I didn't want to spend $70 or whatever. I didn't want to buy plastic. I just wanted something that could be handed down, passed down, and even be still good after my kids were done with them.
I mean, is that really not vegan? I mean, number one, it's not clear how buying used leather, how much it really contributes to the industry, if it even does at all. If it's like a Goodwill where someone literally donated those leather sandals, I'm not sure how that's actually contributing to the leather industry. But also, by the definition of vegan, as far as is possible and practicable, is it something in practice that she can do to buy, $70 vegan shoes? Now, I don't know if that's actually the cost of like vegan leather kid shoes, or she needed specifically, leather or fake leather sandals or something. I mean, again, we're buying kid shoes that are very, very cheap. We just bought new shoes. These finally got too small. We just bought new shoes for toddler that were like 20 something. And yeah, they're new and like not great quality. I'm sure they're not going to last very long, right? So you can definitely find kid shoes. There are lots of kid shoes that don't have leather or anything like that, and they're not, $70. So yeah, that could still actually be considered vegan. I don't, really know for sure in that case. Again, I'm not that matters. Like, I think she made possibly a good decision. Again, I don't know. Is it would it have been better for her to buy some used kid shoes that were just, whatever, like these? Like if these were at the store, would it have been better for her to pay $4 for these and they last like a few months? People have called me vegan because I said I use just regular razors that have like the glycerin, or they probably have the glycerin in the strip, which could be animal derived. People have used that as like a ha ha ha, see, you're not really vegan. It's like, yeah, but okay, that's the only option in my store. I'm not gonna pay way more for vegan razors that I have to order online, which means that now, like, I'm having that shipped to me instead of buying it in a store. Like that seems a lot less environmentally friendly to me. And also it's a lot more expensive. I could save that money and I don't know, donate it. I'm not sure how that is not vegan. I actually did buy some vegan razors though for Christmas. Pacifica had some of the preserve one, I think they're called. They had like a huge sale. So I bought some, they had this like bath dust stuff that smelled really good actually, and yeah, everything was like 20 or 30% off, so I bought some razors. So I do actually have a vegan razor now, but yeah, when I can't like use that anymore, if I lose it or something, am I gonna seek out another vegan razor to avoid the tiny amount of glycerin that may or may not be in the little strip? No, we buy bread a lot. A lot of us buy like sliced bread that has monodiglycerides. That may or may not be animal derived. Are you getting on to people who are just buying bread that otherwise seems like it's vegan? It doesn't have milk or honey or anything in it. Are you getting on to them for not calling up and making sure that it is actually 100% vegan? Come on. If you really do care about labels, I don't know, don't you care about wouldn't you want more people to have your label? If you're being that strict with it, it seems like you're really limiting how many people can join your club. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's not what people who are super strict about this, really care about, but I think so, because we all want there to be more people involved and more people really caring about farmed animals. So it seems like we want more vegans. And don't you worry that if you're constantly telling people that they're not vegan because they bought a razor, that maybe you end up turning people off, making them no longer call themselves vegan. And then, hey, if they stop calling themselves vegan, well, maybe that pressure's off now. Maybe there's no more cognitive dissonance because, hey, they don't have a label anymore. They're not put in a box anymore. So, hey, yeah, maybe sometimes they can have some cheese or some meat, or hey, now they're just eating a regular old diet again. I'm not saying that's likely or anything like that, but it just seems like some people really don't care, and they just care about being able to say that they're vegan and that the rest of us aren't.
I still eat plants. I have eaten plants for the last 14 years. I still eat plants. I still make plant-based recipes. I am owning it now. I am plant-based. And you know what? You are right. I'm gonna tell you right now, you are right. I probably was always plant-based.
Does that make anyone feel good? If you were one of the people sending her shit, like, is that what you wanted? Is that the outcome that you wanted? Do you feel good about yourself after watching that? I would feel pretty crappy, but maybe that's just me. Yeah, I mean, we keep seeing this happen. The nice people, the nicest among us, end up dropping the label, even if they are still vegan in practice, because they just don't want to be associated with the movement, which, I don't know. Maybe we should start questioning what we're doing as a movement to lead to so many people not wanting to be associated with it.
And if anything were off about our children or about our health ourselves, we would make appropriate changes. So please trust in the fact that we would make changes and not be stupid enough to keep doing what we were doing if what we were doing was not working.
That's great. And I think most vegan parents feel that way. We're not going to put our child our children at risk. If we think that something is wrong, then we're going to adjust. And if that means feeding them animal products, then we would. I've only watched this video, and again, her update about her health that she just posted, the how and why I gained 40 pounds. Those are the only 2 videos that I've watched, but she seems really nice. She seems really understanding, and she seems really welcoming. And it just sucks that people just kicked her out of the club because she bought some damn sandals for $4. You know, I think about the amount that I spend on cereal. Like, we buy for the most part, the like natural cereal, because the vast majority of the regular cereal has D3 in it, right? Except for like Cinnamon Life and maybe a couple of others. And so we spend way more on the natural shit, on like the puffins, the peanut butter puffins. Ooh, I love those things. We buy that stuff, which is way, way more expensive. I need to keep track and see exactly how much we spend a year on that cereal versus if we had just bought the regular like corn pops or whatever, because it's all the same shit. Like, it's not any healthier. It's still just sugar. It's still just processed garbage. Like, some of it is actually healthier. Some of it is like, you know, whole wheat, or you've got some of them that are, you know, made from beans, so they've got a little bit of protein or whatever. But generally, it's all just processed crap. I would love to see like how much we actually spend and try to compare that to, you know, what it would be if we just bought the regular cereals. And because I imagine it's quite significant, like per year, and what we could do with that money if we were to, say, donate it to like an effective animal charity. I'm not saying that every single vegan should be doing that. We should all be buying the cereal with the lanolin. I think there is, you know, possibly not buying it. Maybe they are getting some pressure. Maybe they will stop. Maybe they'll start using the VitaShine or whatever. I'm not saying that that is, you know, that's what we should all be doing. I'm just saying that, again, we shouldn't make people feel bad or tell them they're not vegan because they're buying a pair of leather sandals because they think that's the best option, or they're buying some, you know, I can't even think of one damn cereal. Corn Pops. Why do I always go back to Corn Pops? They're buying some Corn Pops with vitamin D in it. Maybe that person actually is saving a bunch of money and donating it. You don't know. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I was coherent enough. Yeah, I did get a lot of people asking about it. So yeah, and I also got someone saying that I should look at what she does feed her kids. Apparently it's pretty good and pretty, you know, balanced. So yeah, I might look at that. And I definitely do plan on doing, again, another video looking at some good, you know, what I ate today's, maybe like a compilation one. You guys left like a whole bunch of channels for me to check out. So thank you so much for doing that. Makes my job a lot easier. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing okay, as well as you can do right now, and staying safe, of course. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to have a new video very soon. I know stuff coming out from creators right now that I really like is like, it's just great. It's just really nice. And of course, having Netflix and Hulu, and we've got a bunch of like Google Play credits or whatever that we can get movies, because we got that for a Christmas present, which is awesome. Watching so many movies is great. I'm really hoping for a new Scary Game Squad video series. For those who are familiar with that, I don't know why, you know, I watched it when they did PT. How many years ago was that? I don't even know. I had been watching Jesse Cox, and they put out that video. It wasn't, Alex wasn't part of it at the time, right? Yeah, and that game is like, you know, still one of the scariest things just ever. It's just horrible, but it was so much fun because I love horror. I love horror movies. I cannot play scary games. I can't physically. It's like painful, you know, like even, oh my God, I remember being little and playing Crash Bandicoot, and you know, the level where the boulder like chases you, I would have to get my cousin to play it for me because it was just too scary. It was too like anxiety inducing, like, you know, physically uncomfortable. And yeah, anytime I've tried even briefly to play anything slightly scary, it's just, no, I cannot do it. But again, I like horror. I would like to be able to at least enjoy these kind of stories and all the weird, gross stuff, you know? I remember watching a friend, this was a long time ago, play RE4, and it was awesome. It's like, this is great. You know, this was like before Let's Plays, right? Anyway, so I watched PT and it was like, man, this is so awesome. I'd watched a little bit of Let's Play, you know, stuff and been on Something Awful a little bit, but I hadn't really gotten into kind of the horror stuff because I assumed that it would still be kind of scary. I guess I just totally forgot about watching my friend play, you know, Resident Evil 4. But yeah, so I watched them play that and it was like, this is exhilarating. Like, this is so much fun. I can get the enjoyment. I can enjoy these games without like dying, without having a panic attack. And yeah, I've just watched them kind of on and off over the years. I just got like back into watching them just like a month or so ago. And I watched RE7, which was surprisingly fun. I think I enjoyed it. I watched the RE2 remake, which was awesome. Holy crap. They did such an amazing job with that. I really hope they do 3 because I'm actually really unfamiliar with 3. So I would love to watch the squad, so to speak, play it. Yeah, you know, they're really, it's like, it's just the most or the least controversial content. You know, it's just a bunch of dudes like having fun and playing a video game and sometimes being really bad. Not finding the shotgun is just the funniest thing, you know. It's fun. It's really fun. So like that, my point is that would be really nice for me right now if they came out with a new video. I don't know if they're going to because obviously social distancing and they do all like play, you know, together in a physical space. So probably not unless they have something already recorded, but a girl can dream.
That, so please do that. And I know that some of you will be disappointed.
Her laugh makes me laugh every time. She's got just the funniest, like, cutest laugh. It's adorable.